lost here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Linda just threw me a curveball. We're just out getting some B-roll for our videos, just some beauty roll, looking for pretty things, but we're not that far from the car. And she says, what if we were lost right now? And why would you say that?
Because it happens. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to us.
What about being in such close proximity to the car?
Well, that's, yeah, a lot of people get lost. Like, close to their car, they're found later, you know, tragically they're found later, and their car is not that far away. It's so easy to get lost and disoriented in woods like this with mountains and valleys, and
it's even easier to get lost if you don't have mountains and valleys, like where the woods are flat
and thick.
Super easy to get lost. Well, here's the thing though. The reason Linda brings this up is because what if we were lost right now? What do we have on us to survive? This past week here in Montana, we had a woman that got lost from her camp and she died from exposure. Basically, she wandered away from their car and couldn't find her way back for whatever reason.
Or they just standing around camp and decide, well, I'll go for a walk this way. And they do, and they keep walking and walking, and the next thing you know, they're lost.
That's right, that happens, but it happens really frequently.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't rain on us while we're doing this. Weather's been really bad, so of course, we're dressed for it, because right now it was spitting snow just a little while ago, and then the sun comes out, and then I see a big dark cloud over that way again, so who knows?
So, if we were lost?
Well, this would be so easy if I just could get on the internet and look up what to do if you're lost. So this is going to be off the top of our heads. And off the top of my head is number one, I'll tell you right now, you're going to panic. Your heart's going to start beating real fast when you look around and realize that you're lost, or most likely you tried to find your way back to your campsite and it's not where you thought it was. That's when you're going to panic.
Panic and get scared.
And what's the most important thing you need to do at that point?
You need to stop.
Exactly. You need to stop. You need to sit down, sit on the ground, sit down, stop, and try to think to yourself, what did I just do? Let's see, I left camp and I was walking and I made that right turn around that tree and stop and think a little bit. You may be able to think that, okay, and when I headed back, I headed straight back and I didn't make a left turn around the tree, which I should have done. And you see what I mean? You got to stop and rationalize. I know of a couple of guys that were hiking up here in these same mountains, and they were kind of like on a ridge line, but there was a older brother, younger brother, but adults. And the younger brother said, we passed that trail. There was a 90-degree trail they were supposed to take down off that trail to go down to get back to the ravine and then down the ravine back to their car. And the younger brother, he said, we passed it, because he thought they should have been there already. And he started running back. And his older brother, a military veteran, yelled at him and said, no, stop. And he called him back and he made him sit down. And they had to sit down and rationalize it. Did we ever see a trail? Well, no, we never saw one. Well, then it has to be in front of us. And he had a hard time convincing his younger brother.
Well, it's hard to get a person in panic mode to calm down. And that's why I say they have to stop. Just stop.
And that younger brother had gone into panic mode.
Yeah.
He'd gone into run mode. Well, it turns out they needed to go another few hundred yards and they found the trail they were looking for. It was still ahead of them yet. There's stories back east about hunters that get lost and it's late in the day, it's starting to get dark and they start running, they throw down their firearm and keep running. They get hot, they get sweaty, they take off their coat and they keep running. They potentially just killed themselves right there.
Yeah.
Taking off their coat and just total panic. Anyways, Linda's right. Number one, sit down and stop and think. Number two, try to get a sense of direction. Where's north, where's south, east, and west? In the northern hemisphere, in the colder months, the sun is going to arc. It's going to start out in the east and it's going to make an arc in the sky to where it sets in the west. In the summertime, that arc is going to go probably directly overhead. But what you need to figure out is which way the sun is moving. You can do that by driving a stake into the ground and taking a little piece of something and marking where the shadow from the stick is, and then sit there a little bit and think about how bad you've been, how naughty you've been by not being more careful. Anyways, while you're sitting there, about an hour later, half hour to an hour later, note where the shadow is off that stick, and then use that to kind of decipher, oh, the sun's going that way. I can see that that's what the sun is doing. That's west. Well, where did you camp?
Do you have an overall picture, like a map in your head of where you camped and where town was, where the road was? You should always have a mental map, kind of, in your head.
And if you don't, stop and decipher it. Like, okay, we were heading south on highway such and such, and we took that dirt road and it went to the left. Kind of went just about east, I think. And then we drove in for a couple of miles and we camped on the left side. Well, that would be the north side of that road. And then I didn't cross that road, so I'm on the north side of that road. I got to go south. And then if you can, once you determine where south is, just start moving south, try to intercept that road. If you can't do that, then the number one rule is, and has always been, go downhill, follow a creek downhill, follow a ravine downhill, go downhill, because civilization is down off the mountain and warmer air is down off the mountain. And I think this is a good place to stop and see what we have in our pockets.
Yeah, in your pockets.
This is going to be different. Linda always wears this. I don't care if we're on a short walk today, but she always wears that pack because that's where she puts her water. So I got a feeling she's got some pretty good stuff in there. Me, I got my camera bag and whatever I got in my pockets, and that's why she said, what if we're lost right now? Let's lay it out. Oh boy. I don't have a sleeping bag. I'll tell you that right now. I always have water in my camera bag. So here's water. Pretty full. Microphones, spare camera. A little bit of TP. We're good. I can survive.
Barely.
I can survive.
Well, there's
fine.
a lot of leaves around.
Let's see.
Okay,
here.
what else?
This is lens cleaning stuff. I don't see any. Oh, you know what's in here? Alcohol wipes.
Ooh,
that's good fire starter.
Yep.
You know, for eyeglass cleaning wipes, those are full of alcohol. Good fire starter. Oh, I got light. I got a camera light. I also have a flashlight, a couple more lights.
Well, that light will be handy.
I bring these along because we've been in caves too often where people chewed me out for, least you could do is bring a light along. So I got these in there. This is a really good one. I've got light and I've got some fire starter. That's it for my camera bag. Let me check my pockets. This isn't too fair because Linda and I, we've been doing this so many years that we've learned not to go out of the house unprepared. And I know that I got things in my jacket pockets that just live in here all the time. Plus my everyday carry in my pants pockets. So I don't know if it's enough to survive on, but we'll see. Another light. I've got plenty of light. Car keys. Electrical connectors. I don't think they're going to do me any good out here. That's the two bottom pockets. I don't have an inside pocket on this coat. A way to self-rescue.
Yeah.
I told you guys I don't leave camp without this. This is my Garmin Inreach. It's a GPS, but it's also a satellite communicator. And I can send a message right now. I can either hit this SOS here on the side by opening this up and hitting the button underneath, or I can send a text message to my family and have them come and find me.
And we've been doing that, letting them know where we are.
I just always have this anyway, so I practice what I preach. What else is in here?
Pencil?
Yeah, I don't know why I've got that, but I don't have a pad of paper, but I've got a pencil. Wait. Cell phone? No cell service out here. What's this? Okay, bingo. I've got an emergency blanket that I have one of these in the pocket of all my jackets. This is good for, in case it's raining, it makes a really good rain, put it over you, you know, like a blanket. And it's about 5 feet by 7 feet, pretty good size. But I'll tell you what, if I'm stuck out here overnight, I'm rolling up in this to keep me warmer. Basically, it won't insulate you at all, but it'll keep your body heat in, and it'll keep the breeze out, or you may be able to rig it up overhead to provide a little rain shelter. This is really a good find. I've got a neckerchief. This could be handy. Lighter.
Ooh, that'll work with the,
That'll work with those fire starter things.
yeah.
So I'm in good shape. I've got a lot more than the average person is going to have, but tell you what, the average person in the woods, I'm not carrying anything special except for that Garmin Inreach. I mean, a neckerchief and a space blanket, everybody should have those in their pockets.
So was that all out of your...
That's out of my
coat?
jacket. That's everything in my jacket.
Okay. Now we got your pants or your inner jacket.
These pockets are empty. I've got my bear protection for you guys. It's 10 millimeter. Another light. Well, I got a lot of lights, but it's because I was out here taking pictures is why I got the others. But there's something on here that's really important. Linda gave me this for Christmas several years ago. It was just a stocking stuffer, and it's a lighter. I put a really good O-ring on it, and because it contains lighter fluid and it's an actual lighter, so I can get a fire going with this easy. And up in the top I put a little piece of cotton, and it's soaked in lighter fluid, and this never evaporates. It's just like having lighter fluid in a container. So if I can find dry wood, I can get a fire going. Keys, more keys, and chapstick. That's also a fire starter, that wax in there. You rub it on a stick, and that could be good. And then I have a pocket knife. For overnight survival, I tell you the truth, this is not that important for overnight survival. You know, I can break branches and
Yeah,
do
so
things.
you don't need a hefty bushcrafting or survival pocket knife.
No, you
Just
don't.
any pocket knife will do.
And my wallet and a spare magazine for my bear protection. And why don't I carry bear spray? Because bear spray is absolutely worthless when the wind is blowing. And that's why I don't carry bear spray. Hey, what do you got in your pockets in your pack?
Okay, well,
So far, I know I can get a fire started, and I've got a space blanket, and I've got some water. That's basically it. Of course, I can always get out with my Garmin Inreach.
okay, well, basically, I have,
You just have a seat.
like all ladies do, I have keys to the trailer in this pocket, and I have a little tiny pocket knife that I stole from my granddaughter because it fits in my pocket, and I'm small, so I needed a small pocket knife.
Our young granddaughters carry knives. No, they do.
And then the
When they're
rest is nothing.
That's it for your pockets?
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Around my neck, I have the keys to the car, because if Rick falls or I fall off a cliff and my pack isn't with me and things fall out of my pocket, I'll always have the keys to the car. So if I make it back to the car, I can always drive out and get help.
Smart. What else is that?
The other thing I have, this is a knife sharpener.
Well, you got a knife sharpener.
Yes, for my little pocket knife. Okay, so in my pack, I always carry a plastic bag for trash or whatever. In that pocket, this pocket has...
Hi, you got the teepee. Look at that.
Yeah, I bring them all.
Oh, I see something else. What else is in there?
Hand sanitizer.
You know what that's good for?
Yeah, fire starter.
That's just like...
And wound care. If you get abrasion and you need to sanitize it. And I have a lighter in there too. And I also have my handy dandy little shovel.
That's for digging cat holes, but it could come in handy for other things.
And then in this front pocket, I carry my knife.
And that's a nice knife.
Yeah.
Somebody must love you a lot for giving you a knife like that.
I don't know, it was some random guy. Yeah, this is my favorite knife, but have a flashlight.
She also carries flashlight in her purse. She also has another knife in her purse, amongst other things.
And what's this?
What is that?
This is a notepad.
Well, I've got a pencil.
I have a compass
You've got a compass?
and a whistle.
Well, we don't have to try to figure out
And
where...
I have a pencil too.
We don't have to try to figure out where south is, or north is. You've got a compass.
Yep.
See, Linda always has these things in this pack that she carries every time she goes for a walk in the woods.
And that whistle is supposed to carry a lot farther than my whistle
You know
or
what?
shouting.
All this comes from having experience in our younger days that we somehow managed to live through,
Exactly.
and it taught us to take this stuff along.
And what is this? This is a bandana that I bought from somebody just to buy locally.
And it's got, doesn't it have survival thing on the...
It has survival tips on it, like water, how to filter it, shelter.
Survive the heat, shelter from cold.
And it's bright orange because
It's got all kinds of info
when
on
people
it.
are searching for you, a lot of people like us, we dress in colors that match the forest. Well, it's hard to find you, but this is real easy to pick out.
That's a nice thing.
Yeah,
How come you didn't buy me one of those?
because it's not your color. Okay. And this pocket is empty for now.
No
Then-
candy bars?
Nope. In the main compartment, I have my water bottle.
See, that's why she brings a pack, is because she carries a big water bottle.
Yeah, I used to carry a bigger one. And I always have leather gloves with me because I have sensitive hands. Let's see. What is this?
Well, that's a power pack, isn't it?
Yep, it's a power pack with the cord that goes to the phone. And here we go. I have
You have
some
food?
beef jerky and some peanuts.
Dang. Okay, what's the 3 things you need to survive?
You need shelter, water, and food.
And in what order?
Shelter first.
Shelter, in this country, shelter is number 1.
Yeah, so that you can be in shape to go look for food and water.
You can survive 3 days without water. You can survive a long time without food. Some of us longer than others, depending on our body weight. And but shelter, it get caught out here right now, middle of May in Montana, like the lady last week, and you die overnight if you're not dressed right and you don't have shelter. Shelter's number one here, right now. What else you got in there?
What else I got? Oh, I got some cool fire starters.
I see matches.
There's waterproof matches.
Mm-hmm.
There's this ferro rod and striker.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lighter, and in here I have those balls of cotton balls
Oh yeah,
soaked with
Vaseline, soaked
yeah.
cotton balls. But you're set.
Boy, they go up real nicely with the ferro rod.
All right, what else is in there?
Okay. Ooh,
Wow.
A goodie bag.
What the heck? You already had beef jerky and peanuts and...
Okay,
What's
this
in
looks
there?
interesting. Oh, a water filter.
Oh, well that's handy.
Oh, and a tarp.
You've got a tarp?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
You don't know everything about these.
How big
It's just
is
a
that?
little one.
Well,
It's
yeah,
for-
but
You know, like when you're out in the desert and you need shade desperately.
I didn't know you had that. It's reflective on one side, yeah?
Yep.
What's that look like? It's about 4 feet by 4 feet.
Yeah, it's just good for sitting under. You know, two people sitting under.
Yeah. Well, that could be handy.
Yep.
Here, wow, interesting.
Okay.
And the water filter. Now, here's something about water. If you're worried about surviving for a day or 2 or 3 days, don't worry about that water filter. You drink water when you see it. If you don't have a water filter, you drink the water anyway. You can always, when you get back to civilization, you can go to the hospital and they get rid of any giardia you pick up or something like that. What you need is hydration. Don't worry about the giardia. There's a couple in the Grand Canyon, and they made their way down to the bottom from the upper rim. They started out on the south rim. They made their way down to the bottom. They had only brought a couple little bottles of water, not even a liter size, or maybe it was, but by the time they got down there, they were out of water. And they started suffering heat stroke. And what's the other word for heat stroke?
Hypothermia.
Hypothermia. So the husband was in pretty bad shape, and he was literally dying. They were right alongside the Colorado River, right there. They were on the shore of the Colorado River. They refused to drink the water because they felt it was polluted. And he died. Luckily, she didn't drink it either, and luckily she was found by a search party while she was still alive. Drink the water. Don't worry about if it's polluted or not. Deal with it later. Now, what else you got going there?
Cordage.
Dang it, you're just set. You've got the space blanket.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
Ooh, and I see a can in here.
Can of what?
Well, it's not candied ginger anymore, because I ate that. Haha, this is the medical kit, I guess. There's been DEET, Neosporin. There's a little multi-tool knife kind of thing that has all these...
It's got tweezers in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can...
And
I don't see tweezers in that one. Your other multi-tool has, I think.
yeah.
Oh, it's got the little tiny pliers things there.
Yep. This is a pretty nice one. It has a little tiny saw.
Yeah.
If you...
Well, that's a handy little kit. Huh.
And
I didn't know you had that either. What boyfriend gave you that?
I don't remember. I have so many. And there's safety bins in here. Little ones, because, you know, sometimes you just need them.
I got to tell you, your kit is way better than the backpack I carry. What do you got in there?
And in here I have some Tums.
I see Tums.
I have some super glue, which probably needs replaced.
Super glue is what you need to close a wound.
Oh, and on the bottom I have ibuprofen.
Okay.
And then there's handy wipes and some band-aids and wound cleaning stuff.
All right. Well, you are prepared, aren't you? You weren't even a Girl Scout. Well, you were for a while.
I was. I got kicked out. Sad to say. You know, it's all about how you grow up. My sister told me the three of us would go hiking, and she was 12. She's 5 years older than me. And we'd take off, not tell anybody where we were going. And where we lived, there was nobody except us. And we'd head up in the hills, and we'd be gone all day. So we learned the hard way.
What do you got in that bag? Oh, you already did that one.
We did this bag. And then in the back, where you're supposed to put your laptop, I guess.
What's that?
Oh, this
that's
is just
your
Windbreak Pants.
Windbreak Pants.
Which is really nice, even in the winter when you're just cold, and you put these on, and this helps keep the cold.
So it's just a shell, lower
It's a shell. Yeah.
Yeah, keeping your legs warm, that really helps.
It's nothing special. It's just nylon, 2 layers of nylon.
Well, I had no idea this is...
Oh, wow! Bonus!
I could eat some of that now.
I know, I think we'll eat this before we head back. And then the rest is just some napkins and stuff.
Well,
And I think
so you got a lot of good stuff in there, but how are we going to survive the night if we were to stay out here? We need to find a place.
yeah. And I got that this thing to keep the night moisture off of us.
Plus, we've each got a space blanket.
Yep.
Well, I got to admit, I'm even surprised by what she had in that little pack. She was really prepared. She always has that, though, and it doesn't matter if we're in the desert or wherever, you'll always see that pack on her back. So she's prepared. Okay, so what if we did get stuck here? We tried to find our way out. It's gotten late, and we know we're stuck for the night. What do you need to think about? Let me tell you. Well, if you're stuck in the woods, number one, this time of year, when it's so cold, last night got down below freezing here. Number one is going to be fire. If you've got a way to start fire, and I hope you do, then start gathering dry wood. Where I am, the best way to get dry wood is the lower branches on the trees. This is always nice and dry, even if it's pouring down rain, which it did all day yesterday. This wood on the lower branches of the trees is dry. I'm going to start gathering up armloads and armloads and armloads of that. And then if you look around me, there's a lot of wood just deadfall and everything else laying on the ground here. I'm going to start dragging it in. Am I going to worry about cutting it up? No. I'm going to feed the ends in, and I'm going to keep pushing those ends into the fire all night. You got to stop and think. The Native Americans didn't have saws. All they did was use long pieces, and they burned them in half, and then they kept feeding the ends into the fire. That's what you're going to have to do to survive. You're going to need to pick a spot to make a shelter or a bed for the night. The first thing you're going to think about is, oh, I need shelter from the prevailing wind. But at nighttime in the mountains, it's not the day's wind that you got to worry about. It's at night when the wind stops, but the cold air starts pouring down the mountain. In that case, one place that you don't want to make shelter is down in a ravine, like up here in front of me, because the cold air is going to funnel right down this ravine here. You don't want to be down there. You want to be up higher. So walk around and find yourself a spot. Look for widowmakers, dead trees that the wind can blow down on you. As long as they're alive, you're okay, for the most part, unless you get really hurricane force winds. I see an area here where I could bed down for the night. The wind is going to pour down off the mountains this way, come down this way. So I would want to fill this all in with debris and stuff back here on the other side of this log. And down in here, I'd want to pile in, remove the branches and make it comfortable. And I'd want to pile in as much humus as I possibly could. Pine needles. I would strip branches off the trees and layer those in, because I want to give myself several inches of needles and things underneath me to insulate me, because the ground is going to soak the warmth out of you faster than anything. Out here, I'd take a stick and dig down to dirt because I don't want to start a forest fire. But I'd dig down to dirt right here and I'd build my fire right here. And I'd start piling up wood like crazy. So I have wood to last all through the night. The idea isn't to get a good night's sleep. The idea is to live through the night. We're talking survival here. A couple of nights and hopefully you find your way out or somebody finds you. What if it's going to rain? Hopefully you've got one of those space blankets in your pocket. Now, if you do, here's what I would do. I would do the same thing about finding a spot to bed down for the night, except I wouldn't be laying down. Instead, I'd find a spot like this where I could get my back up against this tree, and I'd put that insulation down on the ground because I'm going to sit up and wrap that space blanket around me to keep the rain off of me. Something I wouldn't be able to do if I was laying down with a space blanket like that. But sitting up, I think I can, and I can put it up over my head and make sure I'm sitting on good insulated ground here. And that's how I'm going to try to make it through the night. If you don't have that magic space blanket, and there's no reason why you shouldn't have one in your pocket, but if you don't, you're going to have to try to find some place to build some kind of a shelter that'll maybe keep the wind off you and the rain. Here's a possibility here. Here's a tree that's down. I might be able to camp down in here, sleep down in here, but first I'm going to start peeling all kinds of branches off this tree, off the ends of it, and I'm going to stack them up overhead to try to keep as much rain off of me as possible, and also to block the wind. Don't make a big shelter. Make one that's just big enough to squeeze into, because the smaller it is, the more body warmth it's going to hold for you. If you try to build something big, you're going to lose a lot of heat that way. I guess a couple of other tips is listen. You can hear voices in the distance that you could make your way to words. You might hear the noise of traffic. And as for water, you generally hear water before you see it. So listen for water too. The roar of a river, the trickling of a creek, maybe a little waterfall or something. Keep your ears open. Stop and listen and see what you hear. It may save you. Well, Linda sure surprised me by what she had in her pack. It was amazing. I'm proud of her. But you know what? It's what I have in my pockets that could also have saved me if this was a real situation. I had a lighter, a couple of lighters actually, and I have that space blanket. And I think between those two things, I could survive a night out here, even a cold night, as long as I gathered enough wood and got a little fire going, and I was able to wrap myself up like that in that space blanket. So when you guys go camping in the woods or you're just out having fun, don't let fun stop you from also being safe. Put a couple things in your pockets that you can survive with. Make sure you got a lighter, and make sure that you're dressed decently. Don't just dress for what is, dress for what could be. Especially if you're walking away from camp, make sure you bring your jacket along, bring your coat. As they say in Montana, never get more than 100 yards from your coat, no matter what time of year it is. Well, I seem to have lost Linda. But at least she's prepared. So you've made it through the night. Now what are you going to do? One thing you don't want to do is get yourself deeper into trouble. So what's one way of finding your way out? Of course, there's always just stay where the heck you are and wait for somebody to find you. Me, I'm probably not going to do that myself. I'm probably going to try to rescue myself. And what I'm going to do is, this is one technique that I think could work very well. Mark your location very carefully. Hang something in a tree, a bundle of branches or something, or put a tripod or something, and then pick a direction and walk out for a half an hour, maybe an hour. And as you're walking out, be looking behind you, mark your trail so you can go back to that spot. And then pick 90 degrees to that direction that you went and go out another direction for an hour or two and keep coming back to that spot. If that doesn't work, then you're going to walk out further. Walk out for a couple of hours or even a half a day. as long as you can come back to that spot. Keep coming back there because that's the closest spot to wherever you got lost from, to your camp or whatever. Keep coming back. That's just a method of self-rescue that you could try. Keep that one in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just remember, if something like that should happen to you, number one is...
Stop. Stop. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Lean against a tree, but just stop.
Take into consideration what you've done. What track did you make any turns? Try to figure out where you are that way. If that doesn't help, number two, check your pockets. What you got in your pockets and see if there's anything in there that could help you out. It's really easy to carry. This is a big camera bag, but just to carry a small haversack with a lighter and some fire starter in it and a space blanket. You should have those with you all the time, or just put those things in your pockets. Yeah?
Yeah. Well, men have more pockets than women, but...
So carry a little haversack or, something lightweight, but also you can place for your water too. So that would help. Hey, you guys, thanks for coming along on this one. We sure appreciated it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and
We'll see you.
see you around.
Aloha.